When I was 2 years old, my mother dropped me off with my grandparents. She couldn't raise me because she was a cocaine trafficker. She went to prison. She got out of prison when I was about 13. I went and stayed with her for a little while. She kind of taught me the family business. By the time I was 17, I had completely quit going to school, and I was a full-time drug dealer. By the time I was 19, I was tied in with some pretty bad people. I was stealing trucks, dealing drugs, just whatever kind of drug I could get my hands on. Well, when I was 19, things started, like my whole life started to fall apart. It wasn't just about a year after that the police called. They had found my dad in his car on the side of the road. Apparently he had been there for a couple days. So when we got to the hospital, they already had him hooked to a breathing machine. 3 days in, the doctors came to me, me being the eldest son, had to make the decision. By the time I was 21, my entire family had died around me. In my early 20s, I went to this crusade where the preacher on stage had called for anybody who was saved, anybody who wanted to come back to Jesus, who had backslidden, to come up front. Well, I didn't know anything about any scriptures. I had been to church with my grandparents a few times. I didn't even know John 3:16, and that's a scripture that everybody knows. I walked to the front. He does this little prayer and waves his arm, and I feel it, just this wave of power hits me. That was like my moment with God where I left. I didn't know where I was going, and I just started going. Well, a series of divine interventions took me from Atlanta, Georgia to where I'm at now in Coldwater. And I landed here at Word Alive, where there's a divine connection between the pastor here at Word Alive, Kent Maddox, and the gentleman that was on stage preaching that night. And just all the dots connected. It all added up that this is where I'm supposed to be. The reason that's so important to me is because when I was homeless, didn't really have no family, didn't have no one, I was on my own, that's when God came to me. And that's when God started bringing me to where I am now. 3 years I went from not having anyone. Now I'm on staff at Word Alive. I've got friends all over the place. I've got a beautiful woman who I intend to marry. I've got aspects of trying to start my own business eventually. I've got the 25-35 project where I'm going to try to reach out to people who are in the situation I'm in. Like, all this has come together really quick. That's, I think, been my key thing, is just the diligence, just not giving up. God absolutely makes all this possible. And, you know, if I've done it, come from where I was to where I am now, a passion to deal drugs and live life the way I want to live, to a passion to reach out to people who are homeless and just trying to get on their feet, then, you know, it's possible for anyone to do it.